Hey, Warrior Saints. Happy Friday and welcome to today's edition of our Crucifixional live stream. I'm very excited to be with you again today. Not to be dramatic, but something tragic happened on July 12th. July 12th was the day that an agreement could not be reached between the Kraft Heinz company and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the stadium is no longer to be called Heinz Field. Instead, it will be called a Crucifer or something like that. A censure, a Crucifer Field, something like that. I don't really understand how it's supposed to be pronounced. I don't really care how it's supposed to be pronounced because it's Heinz Field. It's Heinz Field. It's always going to be Heinz Field to me. Heinz is a beloved Pittsburgh company. Steelers are a beloved Pittsburgh football team. I love my city of my birth, Pittsburgh, and I'm like broken up about it. Like, look at all the cool stuff they were able to do because it was Heinz Field. First, you had the ketchup bottles, and those ketchup bottles sat, and every time that the players got into the red zone, which they named the Heinz Red Zone, those ketchup bottles would pour out. A few days ago, those ketchup bottles were removed, taken down from our beloved stadium, which is no longer called Heinz Field, but instead something called a Crucifer Stadium. A Crucifer? A censure? I don't really know. It's not even a Pittsburgh company. It's a company from Michigan. Like, why? Why, if you're from Michigan, do you want to have this stadium in Pittsburgh named after you? Why don't you go after the Lions Stadium? Why don't you do something in your own town? Why don't you go after where the University of Michigan plays or where Michigan State University plays and name something there? Who in Pittsburgh is that worried about this company from Michigan that does insurance? I'll tell you who. No one. And people are upset and people are arguing and people are getting really angry. And at the end of the day, we're all missing something very big. The name of this company, whatever it might be, is now making national news because Pittsburgh people are upset. We're saying, as I told you earlier, it's always going to be Heinz Field. It's still Heinz Field to me. We are so focused on this. And then you have other people in Pittsburgh who want to criticize how much everyone in Pittsburgh loves the Steelers because those people are not that bright. And they're saying, why do you even care what the name of the stadium is? Don't be so worried about Heinz. It's not even a Pittsburgh company anymore. It was bought by Kraft and now it's made in Ohio. Because if it's made in Ohio, that's something that's really going to make Pittsburgh people upset. But I checked my Heinz bottle last night at dinner. It's still made in Pittsburgh. Just says Kraft Heinz, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Nonetheless, we're all missing the point. We're getting so focused on these divisions and all of this heated debate over something that is the name of a stadium where people are going and paid a ton of money to play a game called football, a beautiful game. But they're paid a lot of money to play a game. And we pay a lot of money to go see them play this game. And all of these companies pay a lot of money to put their names on the side of the stadium. And then we fight over which team is better. And we fight over what the name should be. And we fight and we fight and we fight. And this is just about a stadium name. And we miss the point. St. Paul says beautifully in First Corinthians, I appeal to you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that all of you agree and that there be no dissensions among you, but that you be united in the same mind and the same judgment. He's calling to us to unity. He's calling for us to be connected to one another. He's calling for us to not have divisions. Because what happens when we are divided? We are easy to be conquered, right? I mean, that's exactly what's going on across the world. Everywhere that we see all of these divisions, and I'm using Heinz Field as like one small example of the divisions that exist out there in this world today. All of these divisions, they separate us. We're easy to be conquered. Don't forget, the word devil in Greek, diabolos, means to divide, to separate. And when we are divided, we lose our focus, and we lose our focus from Christ. By comparison, later in 1 Corinthians, St. Paul says, we endure anything rather than put an obstacle in the way of the gospel of Christ. St. Paul, the great apostle, is willing to endure anything. And I'm not just talking about something as silly as the naming rights to a stadium. He goes on in chapter 9 to talk all about all of these things that are going on, all of these different battles that are happening. And we are willing to endure those things to stay unified, to stay connected, and to not put a stumbling block between us and the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I urge you, brothers and sisters, don't be divided. Fight through things. See through these silly divisions. Not getting mixed up in what's the name and what's the this and what's the that. Don't get caught up because it gets exciting. I've subscribed to it. Like, it's still Heinz to me. It will always be Heinz to me. Like, I get it. It seems like it's fun. It tantalizes us. It brings us away, but it pulls our focus from Christ. We're here to help you recenter your focus on Christ. So as we always do, we urge you to visit us, warriorsaints.org. Get on the way of the warrior saint and join us as we walk a path where we are striving to be together, not divided, and on our way, focused on the gospel of Jesus Christ. We will be back on Sunday with Orthros and Divine Liturgy at 9 and 10 a.m. respectively, and then back again on Monday with our Crucifixional live stream. And until we see you then, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.